A recent Lavier meat substitute billboard advert points out that our parents got the property boom, but we've got vegan bacon that tastes like bacon. While many young people like myself are sentenced to a life of insecure rent paying after 12 years of conservative housing building policies that intentionally favour an older, wealthier, property owning voter base, at least we can be comforted by the promise of an ethical fry-up. As a matter of fact, you may have noticed that an increasing number of advertisements are referencing the cost of living crisis. Supermarkets, bars, and even dating apps are attempting to reflect the economic anxiety that many are facing as a way of attracting struggling customers. And don't worry, it isn't just housing that can be used as a form of sad advertising, otherwise known as sadvertising. I know. Rising energy prices, one of the main drivers of inflation currently, are also being exploited. Did you know that the cost of heating the average home for the evening is roughly the same as 2 pints at the town square bar and food market, with a special QR code offer? Neither did the people of Belfast, until a billboard in the city proclaimed this as a viable alternative to rising energy costs. And look, whilst many of us, myself included, are not opposed to finding flimsy excuses to go for a pint, the crippling rise in energy prices is not one that usually comes to mind. The thinking behind this advertising strategy is a little bit odd. How can't we get more people to spend money in our bar? Well, we simply have to remind them of how little disposable income they have. Huh? Genius. To understand the psychology behind these adverts, one doesn't have to look any further than an article in Advertising Week, which claims to help brands navigate the cost of living crisis, aiming to explain how brands can play their part. If by play their part they mean exploit, then this article does an amazing job. It encourages brands to act as a safe haven for those facing economic anxiety, specifically targeting people who are finance negative, i.e. those who are hit hardest by the cost of living. This isn't just some tongue-in-cheek humor to reference the prevailing struggles under capitalism. It is a targeted strategy to attempt to boost profits on the backs of those facing extreme financial economic anxiety under a capitalist cost of living crisis.
I also just find it quite creepy how targeted the strategy can be. Reading this Advertising Week article, they pull out three specific trends. Denning, people staying in home more, people trying to bargain hunt, brands as a safe haven. One that I for example, says bargain hunters, right? People are trying to save money, they're trying to find bargains, to cut down on their costs. The article doesn't say, hey, maybe if we wanted to help people, we can cut our prices or offer better deals, blah blah blah. Instead, it's just make sure you tell them how much better you are, because then they'll pay more for it. Or it's make it seem like you're doing stuff, you know what I mean? Or we bundle things together, people will fall for it. There's not actually any ways to help people. It's just, here's ways to make people feel better about themselves when they're really struggling. That involve buying your brand. It's not surprising, but it's concerning. It's also a bad sign of how bad things really are when the opening of the article literally says groups that are more finance positive, high earners and baby boomers, even they're starting to get the jitters right now, Maybe it's time to rethink your marketing strategy. It's oh my god, even they know how bad things are. We're having to dramatically restructure how products are sold because everyone's so fucking poor now. Oh my god. If you frequent the Tube in the UK, you may have spotted an advertisement for a Muslim dating site, encouraging the consumer to find a Habibi to split energy bills with. Seemingly, the message is, "Aw, sorry you can't afford to heat your home. Have you ever thought about, trying not being so fucking lonely? Huh? You loser? You nerd? Ever thought of that? Maybe, if you didn't spend all your time inside playing video games and making YouTube videos, you'd have a girlfriend and you wouldn't be so poor." Okay, maybe I'm bringing some personal issues into that one. As bleak as this advert is, it does conjure the idea of a Tinder swindler style scam artist who instead of conning their way into luxury meals and private jets, just jumps from romantic partner to romantic partner just to try and dodge rising energy bills. So yes, if you are right now struggling to afford to heat your home, I recommend seducing enough old ladies you'll never pay an electricity bill again. Dutiful future economic advice. For legal disclaimers, that's not real economic advice. Don't take that seriously. I don't know if that is a legal issue, but it's fine. It's fine. An attempt at tongue-in-cheek humor by these advertisers is at best a distasteful reminder of the financial issues many are facing, and at worst, or rather in reality, a cynical attempt to capitalize on people's worries and anxieties to sell whatever random product they have to shill. The spread of advertising is a reflection of how embedded economic hardship has become in the UK. It is such a feature of our society that it is now a productive concept to invoke when selling things, much like patriotism, nostalgia, or the go compare man. Like, I can see the logic of this if you're like an advertising exec and you're like, oh, let's try and be relatable. Like, haha, we know things are bad too, you know? We understand. This will help, blah, blah, blah. But like, it really just kind of feels the same way as like, when like celebrities are like, oh, it's so tough right now, you know? Like, oh, things are so rough. Oh my God, life's so hard. And it's like, yeah, well, one of us is making millions and one of us is sitting in a bedroom making YouTube videos with a clothes rack that everyone can see. You're hereby banned to judge any of the clothes on the rack. That's not allowed. You don't even look there. Look here. Right? Here. People often throw around the term like post-capitalism, post-capitalist hell, post-capitalist hellhole, dystopia, blah, blah, blah. But like, it truly, you know, it's worth a moment of reflection to think, God, capitalism is getting so bad that now talking about how bad it is helps boost capitalism, which is kind of what I'm doing, but we'll move on from that. As economic hardship becomes increasingly normalized, I think we can all expect plenty more consumable reminders of just how bad things really are. Now, in an attempt to get you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, I will invoke the same tactic. Hey, you. Yes, you, there. Check your bank account. Damn, that's pretty low. I bet if you subscribed, it would be higher. I'm sorry, why? How? I don't know. Just try it. I mean, it can't possibly hurt, huh? Yeah? Yeah, think about that. Thanks for watching. Bye, I guess. And, yeah. See you around.